There was a point where my moving company was about to go bankrupt. We were doing general moves like everyone else, apartment, houses, small offices, and the problem wasn't that we were not working. The problem was that the work paid almost nothing. The industry was crowded, margins were thin, and every job felt like a race to the bottom. I only had enough money to sustain the company for a few more weeks, so I knew I had to make a move. And then I met a customer who needed help with a Peloton bike, and that job changed my life. At the time, it just looked like another job, but handling that piece of equipment showed me there was a specialized market sitting right next to the work I was already struggling with. That single job forced me to look at my business differently, and it eventually pushed me into a niche that now does around $7,000 every single week. This video is a story of how that shift happened and why specializing saved my company and possibly my life. At the time, I was running a standard moving company that looked busy from the outside but was bleeding on the inside. We were competing with dozens of other movers, all fighting for the same customers, and all of us lowering prices just to stay booked. Every job required heavy labor, long hours, and constant negotiation over cost. The more we worked, the more obvious it became that volume wasn't the solution. We were not scaling, we were failing. I knew if something didn't change, the company wouldn't last. The only option was to become a specialized company. My first idea back then was to start calling furniture stores, asking if they were looking for a delivery partner, and I got no answers. I tried calling appliances retailers and nothing. Every door felt closed. And then, out of nowhere, a job fell into my lap and changed the way I saw opportunities in my business. I had to install some fitness equipment, and that equipment happened to be a Peloton bike. That Peloton job paid more than most of the moves that we were doing. And it was different. It wasn't about carrying boxes or rushing through a job. It was about careful assembly, proper setup, and making sure the equipment worked perfectly before leaving. What stood out wasn't just the pay. It was the nature of the work. It felt more technical, more specialized, and less crowded than general moving. And most importantly, the customer wasn't negotiating every dollar. They had already bought an expensive piece of equipment and just wanted it handled properly. And that's when it clicked. It wasn't a one-off opportunity. This was an entire industry sitting next to the one I was trapped in. So I started calling fitness equipment retailers instead of furniture stores. One of them finally gave me a shot. And once I proved we could deliver and install reliably, the work started compounding, and soon enough, other stores wanted to work with us as well. We shifted our business in this new direction, but it didn't happen overnight. We slowly stopped chasing general moving jobs and started leaning more into the fitness equipment delivery and installation. The more we specialized, the more valuable we became to the industry. Retailers didn't want random movers. They wanted someone who understood their equipment, represented their brand well, and wouldn't damage expensive machines or their reputation. Once we positioned ourselves as that company, we stopped competing with everyone else and started operating in our own lane. That's when the business changed from survival mode to growth mode. Instead of fighting for work, we were building relationships. Instead of negotiating price constantly, we were trusted to do the job right. The niche protected us. Peloton didn't make me successful because of the bike. It exposed a gap in the market. It showed me that the real opportunity wasn't in doing more work. It was in doing different work. Most industries look crowded because everyone fights over the same obvious work, but very few people move into a specialized role that actually have room to grow. What started as a moving company about to fail turned into a specialized operation with stable demand and repeat clients. And all of that happened because of one opportunity to assemble a Peloton bike that completely opened my mind. If you're looking to start a business or you are already running one that feels stuck or oversaturated, the answer usually isn't working harder. It's finding the niche that everyone else ignores and committing to it. That shift saved my company and is the reason the business exists today. And if you want to learn more about how to run this business, don't forget to subscribe, follow along, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.